Why don't you just say communications? That's all it is.
Alright, cool. I like that answer. You haven't answered before, but let's see
Scott.
what you think.
Rise radio frequency point is one of the oldest forms of communication available that's technologically, that can't be affected by a lot of different other things like cell phones and other stuff like that.
All relating to it. Cool. Alright, so with this class we're gonna break it down into basically three categories. We're gonna go with the ham radios, CB radios, and then walkie-talkies. And then you'll later on you'll understand why they all kind of play along together, and you'll see what the benefits that a certain system has. Alright, so first we're going to talk about ham radios, right? Now, in order to talk on a ham radio frequency, you would need to have a license, which then you would have to go to the ARRL, which is through that, and that's just the basic, that's kind of like the FCC of ham radios. So there's three types of licenses that you can get. You have a technician, general, and amateur. Now, the license that has the least amount of, privileges would be the technician license. So now if you have the technician license, that would mean that you can be able to talk on these with no problem whatsoever, because you have the license for it. While if somebody has we'll say an 80-meter band, which is the biggest radio one of the biggest radios that you can have for a ham radio, you would need to have an amateur extra radio because of the distance and the different types of wavelengths and things like that. It's very complicated. Even I don't know everything about it, but at least I don't have a general knowledge of it. Now on some ham radios, they have what's called the repeaters. So what the repeater does is that it basically carries your signal out and it picks up your signal and carries it out farther so you can talk to people farther away. So for instance, for we'll say a 2 meter band for a ham radio, your distance will probably be around 10 miles without any repeater. But because there's repeaters around the area, you could be able to talk to people in Situate, Connecticut, and I've heard people in Franklin from Woonsocket or North Smithfield, which a normal walkie-talkie won't be able to hit that far. But then also, what's mainly different with the ham radio is that it goes by atmospheric pressure, atmospheric conditions. So depending on how the sun moves and all the sunspots and stuff like that, that can change how the radio signals bounce off the ionosphere and stuff like that. So on a certain day, some people can talk to Switzerland on a handheld radio, while on some days you can't talk to the guy next to you. It all depends on the different types of solar conditions. Now, like I said before, with the ham radio, you have about 5 to basically you talk around the world with different people. So over the summer I've talking to a guy that said that there was one cold day in February that when he pointed his antenna to the North Pole and he then he hit his microphone, he heard the signal bounce off the backside of his antenna and go back around the world again. So if you think about it, so it's in a quarter of a second. So we'll say if this is the Earth, right? That signal went all the way around, bounced off in the back of the actual antenna, and came back to him in a quarter of a second. That's the type of speed you're looking at on one of these things, which is quite crazy, if you ask me. And that's basically what ham radios are for. They're for long distances, or you could talk to people around the world or next to you and stuff like that. Alright, so the next thing we have is CB radios. Now, CB radios has been popular ever since it's been brought to the public side, because at one point, CB radios was, at one point, you needed a license to be able to operate on a CB radio. Now, I think it was like 68 or 67, that's when the FCC decided to put it to the public side, and that's when everybody and their grandmother had a CB radio, as everybody probably knows, right? So like, but now a CB radio, right, it's still part of a ham radio, if it's easy to understand. So like, there's 10 meters, then there's 12 meters, right? CB radios, on the CB radio, it's 11 meters. So, you know, it's still a ham radio, but it's public side, because it's a citizen band, so people can use it. Now with the CB radio, it is a cheaper option. There's a lot more of them out there that you can get, like I said, at a cheaper price, and also you can use it so you can have it to go either as a base station or you can go mobile. And later on we'll discuss more about how to be able to do that. And then depending on depending on the different types of atmosphere, pressure, and actually in the weather, that determines the amount of distance that you can get. So like on a rainy day, you probably can hit somebody who's 2 miles away, while on a nice cold day or a nice sunny day, you can hit somebody probably 20 miles from here, which is quite a long time. It's quite a long distance for a little CB radio, because each CB radio only puts out 4 watts legally, unless you have a sideband that goes to 12. But now some people that have ham radios could have 500, 1,000, 2,000 watts worth of kind of energy to put that signal out. Now, you know, so I know that some people are like, well, you know, they talk to the moon with 5 watts, but I don't believe that. I think they used a lot more wattage to put it out there, if you understand what I'm saying. Is there any questions? No? Okay, cool. And if I'm talking too fast, let me know. Alright, so the next thing we're going to talk about are walkie-talkies. Now, walkie-talkies is, I'm sure everybody here has owned a walkie-talkie before, you know. We've all been a kid once. So, out of the 3 types that I'm talking about today, the walkie-talkie is the cheaper option. Just because it's little, it's handheld, and you can buy more of them. So you can have, you can buy like a 10-pack of walkie-talkies for probably like $100. So, you know, it's quite cheap for what you can get out of it. So, and what's cool with the walkie-talkie too, let me pick that up for you.
Oh, I got it. I gotta get better.
One of the benefits on the walkie-talkies is that you can have multiple. If you're in a group of people, you can talk to many people, as you know, all that good fun stuff, and then also you probably get good mileage, but it all depends on the line of sight of the walkie-talkie and the amount of power that's going through it. So now, and that's basically, I think this is the last thing I have before I talk about the Boafeng radios. Alright, so that's basically a quick overview of
Destruction.
yeah. So that's basically a quick overview on different types of radio communication, and now I want to go into the Boafeng radios, which I really like and enjoy. Alright, so out of the 3 types of the communications that I've talked about, the Boafeng radio can do basically all 3. It's a walkie-talkie. You can use it as a ham radio because it is technically a ham radio, and then also you can use it as a walkie-talkie. So like with this Boafeng, which is the newer model, which is the BF-HP, BFF8 HP. This has the ability to program 128 channels, and then also it has the more options than the UV5RA, which is like the younger brother, the older brother. So if you think about it, the BFF8 HP is like a 2015 Grand Cherokee, as a UV5RA was probably like a 96 Grand Cherokee. So it's the same. It's the same model, same brand. It's just one's newer than the other. So what's better with the newer one that comes out is that the firmware is better. You can do a lot more things, and you can program it a lot more easier by manually than you can with the older models. Now the older models you can get at a cheaper price, but I always like the option of getting the newest ones if it's cheap enough. So like on Amazon, this is like I believe it was like $68 on Amazon. So and with the $68 it comes with the radio, not this battery pack, but the different type of battery pack that it comes with, which is a lot thicker. So you have a lot more life out of it. This radio also has an option of high, medium, and low. So meaning that you can change either if you want to put 1 watt, 1 watt, 5 watts, or 8 watts of power. Now, legally, if you were going to talk on a walkie-talkie, you can't do anything over 2 watts, but you know, you can do whatever you want to do. I'm not saying anything else. So what's cool too with the Boafeng is that you can also program walkie-talkie frequencies or what they call a FRS frequency, and that basically stands for Family Radio Service. And with that, you can talk to people that have a Boafeng radio if you already coordinate if I'll be on channel this on this day and whatever it is, and then also you can talk to, we'll say like your neighbor down the street who doesn't have a Boafeng radio and they just have a normal walkie-talkie. You could be able to talk to them on that, no problem. And another cool thing too that I like about the Boafeng radio is that you can plug in the national weather stations. So like for instance, okay, so for instance, like I'm not sure where this is because depending on what frequency that you plug in on the national on the NOAA site, that goes up per your area. So the one right here is not for this area. It's actually somewhere else but I don't know. I know that the 1-4 area is it's like 164 400.
And it's in Johnson.
Yeah, it's in Johnston.
Yeah.
So with that, you could be able to listen to the weather station if like your power goes out or stuff like that, and have the ability to talk to people on the walkie-talkie, and also on the Boafeng radio. So for the biggest bang for your buck, this radio can do a whole lot of things, which is really cool. What's also cool too is that with the radio, if you have multiple radios, you can also make your own repeater out of them. Meaning that, let's say if you live on a hill, right, and your friend lives between another hill, you can set 2 of these up and place them on the hill between you and your friend, and you could be able to talk to them because it goes by line of sight with the antenna, because that's what the radio frequency needs to do. Are there any questions?
Is there like a setting for making it a repeater?
Well, there's not really an actual setting. It's just a just a cord you buy for like $18, and you plug it in right here with a microphone, and the speaker jack goes, and you plug this both in, and it does it for you.
And you put them on the same frequency?
Well, no, because what you would do is you would put one on one frequency, one on another frequency, because with the ham radio, it needs to transmit on one and receive on another. So if it's both the same, it will think it's talking to itself, and you won't be able to hear yourself because
Like a
it won't-
feedback loop.
because it won't like repeat it out because it's hearing the same thing that you're sending.
Just to remind you, on my Boafeng,
Yes.
I have almost every repeater program in that radio. So
Okay.
if you wanted to copy that for everybody, that would be great. You know.
Oh man, that's fine. So okay, yeah. So like it really depends on what you want to do because I know like Duke said, he has a repeater for all the repeaters around this area. I set mine up a little bit differently. I didn't really set mine up for a repeater because I wasn't planning on using the repeater. This is more of a like within a mile to two within somebody else type deal. But you can set up it however ways you want, and also there's 128 programmable channels that you can use. So, you know, if you know, so far I've only used 25, and I can't, you know, there's always an option you can add a lot more to it and stuff like that. So, does anybody else have any other questions?
How many people brought the radios today?
Show of hands.
I thought we were doing food storage.
I know, I forgot my radio. I'm bummed out, I forgot my radio.
Well, I'm glad everybody else brought them.
What is a radio when it's at home?
I've been wanting you to find out how to use this for 2 months, I think it.
Dimitri lives in
I
the
think it's
woods.
been more than 2 months. It's been like,
Right. All right. So, is everybody ready to play with these things? Yay, nay?
Yeah.
We good?
yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna turn the radio on, and by turning the radio on, it's basically the top knob to the right. Okay. So now, one thing to note, when you turn on your radio, you'll hear there's a channel mode, and there's a frequency mode. Now, for you to actually program this radio, you need to put it to frequency mode. I know people are writing, so I'll take it slow.
You got frequency, somebody's talking, they're chatting up a song.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it?
441350.
That's cool.
Channel mode. Frequency mode.
Okay, so, all right. Oh, sorry.
I think I got this frequency
Other
off
than
of
good
that
time.
list. Remember that sheet I had that
Yeah.
had all the frequencies on it?
Yeah, that could have been
I
it.
think I got it.
All right, so to program it, we want to put it to frequency mode. Now to do that, you would press the VFO button that's on the radio. It's probably orange. You see it. Now when you press it, it'll say either channel or frequency mode,
Channel frequency mode. Frequency mode.
and that's what you want. You want frequency mode to do this.
Channel mode. Frequency mode.
Okay, has everybody there? Okay, so what we're gonna program in? We're gonna type in. Let me think. We'll do 165 000,
0, 5, 6, 5,
and you do that by pressing the pad, of course.
0.
All right. So I want everybody to look at the radios. Do you see a green button?
Yep.
Everybody see a green button? Okay, cool. So that green button means that you've got the right frequency going. Test. 1, 2, 3. Test. Here.
Like a Charlie.
Cool. All right. So and that's basically how to input it. Now, are we feeling adventurous enough to learn how to save it?
Yeah.
You feeling adventurous today?
Yeah,
All right. Cool.
I'm feeling adventurous.
It's $32, so I can always buy another one.
All right. Cool. Now, what model did you pick up? It should be
this
that-
one's, UV 5